actually a shy person, a little introverted. A little drinks would make me a little more, come out a little stronger, a little more aggressive. And it seemed fun, you know. But as the years begin to go on, when I started getting kicked out of places that I live, and you start getting cars repossessed, and having to take my only guitar to the pawn shop just to buy a bag of dope. Suddenly you realize this isn't as fun as I thought it was.
That's right.
And like I mentioned a while ago, they wept when they remembered Zion. And I'm thinking, man, just a few years ago, my life was together and I had peace and I was in an apostolic church and I didn't have to deal with all the hurts and the problems that I've got now.
Yeah, that's right.
And here I was floundering in this confusion. And I got married. My wife and I had become alcoholics. And finally, we were living in Colorado Springs in a motel room. And I told my wife, I said, honey, let's get out of here. Let's go back to Missouri. And I'll find a job. I'm going to quit playing clubs. And you know, people say, well, I'm going to move away and find myself. Well, I found myself right back in the same situation. I looked in the mirror and I realized 1,000 miles later, I'm still looking at me.
That's right.
No matter where you go, there you are.
That's right.
And there I was. And then I tried for a while. I got a regular job and I quit playing clubs for a little while. And then I met some other people and ended up back in the clubs. And we ended up in a worse motel room than we had lived in before. And that's when I realized that I've hit rock bottom. I've hit rock bottom. This is it. And my wife told someone later, she said, I didn't know whether to kill him or kill myself. Things had got that bad. And it was through that period of time that the knock came. And they invited little Dominique to church.
Amen. Hallelujah.
Brother Spell, when she'd come in from Sunday school, she'd come walking in, it was like sunshine coming into that motel room. I realize now that it was the almighty presence of God.
Amen.
Just conviction. It wasn't judgment. I never felt that, but I just felt the glorious mercy of God just reaching out to me. And it was a powerful thing. And one night my wife said, I'm not going to do this anymore. She got that old 77 Caprice Classic and she said, I'm going to church. Won't you go? And I said, I'm not going to go. I wanted to, but So she went to church. It was 15 miles away from where that motel room. She came back about 10:30 or 11 that night. Eyes all red, hair messed up. Man, I knew exactly what happened. She had been at an altar. She didn't have any clothes, really. Ladies in church gave her some stuff to wear. She started getting in that little car and going to church, man, taking little Dominique. Wasn't missing a service, man. She was so excited. I could tell her life had changed. It was the hardest 4 months of my life. You know, Jesus said, behold, I'll stand at the door and knock. He was the perfect, consummate, ultimate gentleman. But the devil was fighting and screaming, and there was a struggle in me. It was a hard time in my life, and I wanted to just run. I just wanted to run. I wanted to get away from everything, Bishop, because God just had his hand on my life. My father-in-law is a pastor in Colorado. He sent my wife 2 cassettes. And one of them was a group called the Hensons. And I had heard the Hensons. And the other one was a group called the Magruders. I'd never heard of the Magruders. We had a little boombox in that motel room. And my wife had plugged in, they were white cassettes. He had burned them off on a duplicator, bootleg, pirate and all that stuff. The quality wasn't very good. She had plugged those cassettes in and started listening to that music. And it wasn't like I could go into another room. I was stuck in that little motel room. She listened to them songs over and over. And I would start to feel something moving on me. And I tried to rationalize it away. Well, it's just the harmonies, and it's just the fact that I like music. And I realize now it was much more than that. It was the convicting power of God that was flowing through that motel room and touching me through those songs. Man, I think the tape of the Magrooters was called Special. They had the title song, we call it special, but the special call it home. And I would hear those songs.